let's hop right over to the Washington Post op-ed. Okay, so Amber Heard, opinion. I spoke up against sexual violence and face our culture's wrath. That has to change. Okay, so she retweeted this, right? Someone's in love with Artie. That is Artie, and he has several channels here on YouTube, and we'll hope someone will post. I'm sure someone did post them there. So I was exposed to abuse at a very young age. So clearly she's not talking about Johnny there. I knew, hey, I think we have someone else add to stream.
Hi.
Hello.
It's me, Ron Coleman.
Hey, Ron Coleman. How's it going?
Good, thank you.
Everyone, welcome Ron. Ron, plug your channel right this second.
My channel it's right there in my name, Lawyer Ron Coleman. I'm just another old Orthodox Jewish lawyer in New York. And I do a lot of, I see the word civil liberties. I'm not an ambassador to either the American Civil Liberties Union or to any women's rights organization, but I'm married to one. She hasn't complained too much or thrown a cell phone at my face or claimed that I threw a cell phone at her face or anything like that.
Hello. I love it. I
know that you're looking for friends to pop in, and
yes,
I would take you up on it before I get back to my amended complaint that I've been working on for 3 weeks.
Oh my goodness. I don't envy you that. I do not miss writing complaints. I just don't. It's horrible.
You stopped writing pleadings? What do? You just do this all day?
I'm a criminal defense attorney. So I just came out of a murder trial.
You don't ever have to write anything. All you have to do is write wrongs.
I have to scream objection. That's my job.
All right, please. I'm going to just watch. I'm just watching with a picture. Everyone else.
Ron, do me a favor. You've got your channel. You told us your channel name, but I can't see it on your thing. Okay.
It's Lawyer Ron Coleman.
Lawyer Ron Coleman. Okay.
Ron Coleman Lawyer. Ron Coleman Lawyer.
Okay. Okay. No. Now I can see it. Okay. Ron Coleman Lawyer. Okay. Awesome.
That's very nice of you. Thank you.
So Here we go. I'm just looking back at the at Amber Heard's op-ed because this is the genesis of the action, right? And I just needed to reground myself and what did she say, and what the heck, how did it lead to this ripple effect? So, we looked at the complaint, and now this is the complaint. The complaint is generated from this. So she says, I knew that men had the power physically, socially, and financially, and that a lot of institutions support that arrangement. I knew this long before I had the words to articulate it, and I bet you learned it young too. It's interesting with the Civil Liberties Union because she was supposed to donate money and didn't. Like many women, I had been harassed and sexually assaulted. Go ahead, Ron.
Who's the you? The reader?
I think she's talking to the reader.
Okay.
Not to me. Like many women, I have been harassed and sexually assaulted by the time I was of college age, but I kept quiet. I did not expect filing complaints to bring justice, and I didn't see myself as a victim. Then 2 years ago, I became a public figure representing domestic abuse. So this would be 2016 when she took out the protective order against Johnny Depp. And I felt the full force of our culture's wrath for women who speak out. Let's keep going. Friends and and advisors told me I would never work again as an actress, that I would be blacklisted. A movie I was attached to recast my role. I had just shot a 2-year campaign as the face of a global fashion brand, and the company dropped me. Questions arose as to whether I would be able to keep my role of Mira in the movie Justice League and Aquaman. This is right days before Aquaman was supposed to come out, guys. So when the cross-examination was is it, or with the experts, didn't she have a movie coming right out? Yeah, she had a movie coming right out. I had the rare vantage point of seeing in real time how institutions protect men accused of abuse. Imagine a powerful man. Go ahead, Ron.
How would that have cut? In other words, on cross-examination, what was that question meant to suggest to the jury?
Yeah, so no, it wasn't so much on cross. What it was they called this industry expert, this guy that used to work for Disney. And he basically said, this boosted Amber Heard going into Aquaman. Nobody really knew who she was, but then she's saying, look, I've been abused by Johnny Depp. We're in the midst of the Me Too movement. And now everyone's going to check her out, right? See who this lady is who survived this horrendous abuse that she alleged.
Okay. Make her into a victim, which in America makes you a hero. Raise her, get her name trending, so that when people hear because maybe she's like not really an A-list.
She wasn't,
Right.
she wasn't an A-list celebrity at the time. I mean,
So
I didn't know anything about her.
So the inference, right,
Mm-hmm.
is meant to be, or the implication is meant to be, that she may have been motivated to write this.
Mm-hmm.
Now is that meant as to suggest that therefore it had nothing to do with her husband, or to suggest that
Right.
it wasn't true?
Right. So I think what they were trying to say is that she made up these allegations in order to boost her career and to ride the wave of Me Too.
Okay.
I think that's the suggestion. That's what they're implicating to the jury without saying it. So imagine a powerful man is a ship like the Titanic. The ship is a huge enterprise. So the powerful man here would be Johnny Depp. I don't know. So they're saying that she's not saying Johnny Depp in particular. That's what they said in their motion to strike the claims, saying that she never said the words Johnny Depp, but they have defamation by implication in the state of Virginia. And it certainly could be implied who the heck else powerful man could she be talking about in 2016 other than the one that she was married to in 2016, who was Johnny Depp. And when it strikes an iceberg, there are a lot of people on board desperate to patch up holes, not because they believe in or even care about the ship, but because their own fates depend on the enterprise. We can keep going, Mrs. Kick. Thank you. In recent years, the hashtag #MeToo movement has taught us about how power like this works, not just in Hollywood, but in all kinds of institutions, workplaces, places of worship, or simply in particular communities. In every walk of life, women are confronting these men who are buoyed by social, economic, and cultural power. And these institutions are beginning to change. We are in a transformative political moment. The president of our country has been accused by more than a dozen women of sexual, let's keep it going, misconduct.
Testimony about whether she wrote this herself or whether it was ghostwritten?
Yeah, I haven't caught any testimony on that. I was wondering, literally as I'm reading this, I'm wondering if she wrote it, because it's like, it's in the Washington Post and it has like a strange, like, it shouldn't have a political bent if it's like I was sexually abused and I want to. There shouldn't be any reason to really talk about Donald Trump. Really.
Also, there just aren't too many people who work in Hollywood who can string two sentences together.
I don't know.
It's not what they do.
I don't know. I don't know what they can do, but I do know that I did wonder if this was ghostwritten. But either way, she republished it, right? So she tweeted it.
Oh yeah, she gets full credit for that.
Yeah, and she endorsed it. So. Outrage over his statements and behaviors have energized a female-led opposition. Hashtag #MeToo started a conversation about just how profoundly sexual violence affects women in every area of our lives. And last month, more women were elected to Congress than ever in our history, with the mandate to take, like, this is the part where I'm like, did you write this? To take women's issues seriously. Women's rage and determination to end sexual violence are turning into a political force. We have an opening now to bolster and build institutions protective of women. And then we talk about the Violence Against Women Act, which needs to be strengthened, she says. That was passed in 1994. The act is one of the most effective pieces of legislation enacted to fight domestic violence and sexual assault. It actually is not, guys. It's not effective at all. It creates support. It's not. As a criminal defense attorney, take it from me. It creates support systems for people who report abuse and provides funding for rape crisis centers, legal assistance programs.
What did you think what did you think about, well, when you say that it's not effective, do you mean it's not effective? Oh, she's saying even when she wrote this, she's saying that it was effective.
Yeah.
To be bolstered. You're saying it was garbage from day one.
It's garbage in application.
It's still garbage now.
Yeah, it's garbage. Doesn't protect anybody, guys. So I think we can kind of end it there, because she's going to wax poetic about a bunch of other things. Those were the allegations that she made. You guys know what political bent that I have, but I have a lot of problems with that op-ed, because I don't think that is really getting across the message, even if it was true that they want to get across. So.
Hi, Mrs. Kick. We haven't met.
Oh, Mrs. Kick is our wonderful assistant for the channel.
No, I deduced that. I deduced that from your thank you. You and I had not met before tonight either, but
he keeps everything going because I am a hot mess and I cannot operate StreamYard, which is one of the easier things to operate. So Amber Heard testified today and yesterday. Today was day 2 of her testimony. There's a very interesting break that's going to happen of a week. She cannot discuss her testimony with her lawyers, which I don't know how they're going to swing that. I just don't know how that's going to happen, but that's what they're supposed to do. And as officers of the court, they cannot discuss her testimony with her. And so I want to let you guys know that hearing all the allegations that she made, which were horrific and detailed and graphic and gruesome against Johnny Depp, of him having abused and assaulted her, I was hearing all of her allegations through the lens of the recording that was played in court from Johnny Depp when he testified. And Mrs. Kick, that is the last video with the 4:14 timestamp. If we can pull that up. This was played at the end of Johnny Depp's direct examination testimony. And I cannot get this out of my head while listening to her testify, seeing her emotive, expressive faces. This is what I'm thinking about the entire time. And I'm letting you guys know right now, it's biasing me. Okay, so go ahead.
Spirits thrown at my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and yes. I know it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if it's a fair fight. My ass.
Exactly, because you're.
Mr. Depp, when did you have the conversation reflected in this recording with Ms. Heard?
Just go back to 4:14 one more time. Go back one more time. The impact of this to me. Perfect.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and yes. I know it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if it's a fair fight. My ass.
Exactly, because you're.
Mr. Depp, when did you have the conversation reflected in this recording with Ms. Heard?
So you can pause, Mrs. Kick. So you can actually close this out. So she basically, number one, I don't know if you heard this, Ron, but there was testimony on direct that she defecated in his bed. That she severed his finger by throwing a glass bottle at him. Severed the tip of his finger. I think we've all heard about that.
Classic.
Yeah. And then he has photos and medical documentation that the finger was severed. And then he has recordings of their conversations that are like, basically, oh, tell the world I, Johnny Depp, am a victim of domestic violence. Also one where she says, you were not punched. I hit you.
So let me get this right. She's already anticipating how he's going to spin. She did, let's say, she did X. So she's now trying to get out in front of his spin.
Yeah.
So that no matter what he says, it will sound as if he's spinning it the way she predicted he would.
Actually, yes. Mrs. Kick, if you go back to that video, if you go back like a minute before 4:14, you'll hear exactly that in their conversation. So just pull that up for me, Mrs. Kick. Just like a minute and a half before then, when they first start talking, you will hear that in their conversation where she's like, I had to get out ahead of this when I made the allegations that you abused me and I took out the protective order. Yeah, about there, maybe a little bit before. Go ahead.
Here's the deal.
Oh, it matters. It makes. You have no idea. Every ounce of my credibility has been taken from. And done so in a dishonest way.
Amber, the abuse thing is we've got to deal with that. Yeah, we've got to deal with that, Amber.
I don't have any way of my credit. It's my credibility. You know what?
And why did you put that out there?
I did not. You forced me. Your team forced me to by going on the offense.
I didn't force you to.
I promise. I did not choose it. You have every step of the way. It's been an authentic.
I did not put this anywhere. I didn't. Let me talk to the fucking team.
I did not call the cops.
Which side recorded this?
I called the cops.
Who did?
You told I would call the cops.
I believe who recorded it.
I did not call the cops, and I did not give them any statement when they came. I've been trying to protect you.
You told Io to call the cops.
When while it was happening?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, because the last time that it got crazy between us, I really did think I was going to lose my life, and I thought you would do it on accident. And I told you that. I said, oh my God, I thought the first time.
Amber, I lost a fucking finger, man. Come on. I had a mineral can of mineral spirits thrown in my nose.
You can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
yes.
I know it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
It doesn't matter if
We can pause. Okay. So I cannot, as a defense attorney, right, flip this. This is a civil case. As I said before, preponderance of the evidence standard. Ron, I need your input on this because this is your forte, right?
That's what I do.
So I'm gonna let you do that. But let me put it in my brain.
Yeah.
If Johnny Depp is the defendant, was the defendant accused of domestic violence, and
right.
She was the alleged victim, and this statement was played in court, I would eat her the F up on cross-examination. This calls her credibility into question so much. It really calls her credibility into question. This tells me you put this story out, this op-ed, in order to get ahead of the abuse that you know that you perpetrated on him, or that it was this fair fight that you want to spin it as and make him accept that it's a fair fight. And he doesn't seem like he wants to accept that it's a fair fight. Go ahead.
So let's clarify again, because I asked you during the dialogue, who recorded it?
So I thought that it was Johnny that recorded it, but apparently it was Amber that recorded it. And it sounds like she's trying to get him to admit it's a fair fight.
Yeah. Dunk.
Yeah.
That's your point. That's your point. This was all about luring him into making admissions, or at least acknowledging aspects of her story that she thinks she might not be able to get into it. And the fact is, it was really done in an amateurish way because, well, of course, it certainly wasn't done on the advice of counsel.
No way. Insane.
Although we've seen these people in court, so they're not very good.
No.
But she is getting the things that she's basically, and like you said, this is just awful. Mm-hmm. The stuff that she's trying to basically get him to admit, and you're going to know where I'm coming from when I say this, they're lady points, they're emotional points. Yeah. It wasn't a fair fight. Of course I did those things to you, but you're Johnny Depp. You're bigger than me, and you're more famous than me, and you're richer than me. Honey, you didn't need him on the phone for that. You could have said that in an affidavit, and we would understand that from go. I don't need you. But meanwhile, she's acknowledging that those things happened.
Yes. And she's not denying them. He said, my finger was severed. And she's not like, I didn't do it. The failure to deny, the jury can take that into consideration.
Right. It's admission against interest, or an admission by a party opponent.
Yeah. And there's also the factor of, in another audio, she goes, I hit you. I didn't punch you. You were not punched. You were hit. What are you saying? What are you saying?
That I hit you like a girl. Meanwhile, no, she's a train wreck. She's a train wreck. But this is like, you and I both made a decision. You do something that I have always said. I just don't understand how, like, the responsibility that criminal defense attorneys take on their shoulders. I mean, for most of my career, I've had to worry about whether or not someone's going to get to keep their trademark. And whether this one gets to call himself the authentic pizza place, or that one gets to call. I mean, you're talking about liberty and life. but at least neither one of us is a divorce lawyer.
Oh,
But this is like the worst of all possible worlds. It's a defamation case, that's a divorce case, and it's like has many of the fun aspects of a really sleazy trailer park divorce case that no one could ever afford to actually litigate except clowns like this. I mean, at what point did the judge say call the lawyers in and say, why on earth are you people going to trial in this? You're destroying both of your clients' reputations for all time. How much money could be at stake? What is Johnny Depp trying to? I don't understand his motivation.
Honestly, the point that you're making is kind of like what my summary was going to be, which was that I'm going to be real with you guys. We're going to talk about Amber's, testimony. I don't believe a lot of what she's saying based on the photographs that they introduced, the horrible abuse that she alleged with that level of non-injury. I just don't believe it. I'm just going to be honest.
Robin Givens problem.
Oh yeah. Oh, I mean, it's Mike Tyson. He would destroy you if he'd beaten you. Get out of here. I mean, he could destroy you on accident, But
blinking too hard.
Aside from that, is that it may not matter, right? It may not matter if she's dissembling. It may not matter if she is exaggerating. There are things that she has alleged about him that are supported by, recordings and things like that of him being extremely intoxicated, extremely belligerent, things like that are forever damaging to his career. And, I get it. On one hand, if he had supporters that were on the fence, I think that they are all the way back with him now, right? But I think those people are very few and far between. I think most people that were with him before are going to be with him again. And they have enough to say, I can comfortably support Johnny Depp. I can comfortably support him. But I don't know if Hollywood can take him on in another big project, like a Disney project or anything like that, that's, lucrative and family friendly, with these drug allegations that are out there, and maybe what he did amounted to emotional abuse, if not physical abuse. And so is the jury going to turn around and say, number one, will the jury say, I've heard it all. Maybe I don't believe her on the physical abuse, but the things I heard on the recording, maybe that's emotional abuse. Maybe that's verbal abuse, right? And so I can't call it one way or the other and say that she was lying about that,
Or they come back and say, Johnny, you're right. She defamed you.
Yeah.
Your reputation's worth $5.
Yeah. Because your reputation is already crap because of your abuse issues, your abuse of yourself, the addictions issues, which is tough. And I'm not calling it like that. Like, okay, so for me personally, after I heard that recording of her, this is just me talking as a human being, not as a lawyer. After I heard that recording of her.
Important distinction.
Yeah, important distinction. On a visceral level, I felt like, no, she's the abuser in the relationship. She's gaslighting him. It's like classic gaslighting. You were hit, you weren't punched. That's gaslighting right there, right? And that's emotionally abusive in and of itself. And she used the term sexual abuse and reposted the op-ed to give people a certain feeling, and that's not what happened. And I don't believe her when she testifies, right? And so I think he should get some type of catharsis out of this or something like that. But legally speaking, that's not what the law does for you. It awards damages or it doesn't, And
also, how deep are her pockets?
She doesn't have anywhere near as much money as he has.
So I don't understand, what is the litigation goal here? So when in civil litigation, you have this really obvious litigation goal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Avoid or minimize incarceration or other penalties.
Yeah.
What's my litigation goals? They can be in a very broad spectrum, and sometimes we have people who tell us they want us to file cases that are not meritorious, but they want to make a point. And well, we can't do that if it's not meritorious. But on the other hand, we can tell them this is not a sanctionable case or a frivolous case, but it's probably a case that's likely to get lost. But I need the public relations. I need to make the point for public relations. Well, if that's his goal here, as you say, there's a certain category of his fans who are reassured that it's not as bad as the worst things they heard.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, he has law. He's better known, like to someone like me who has no truck at all with Hollywood.
Yeah.
I now know more about his debauched lifestyle than I otherwise would have.
Yeah.
Again, he's not losing my ticket to the movies, but
right, because he never had it in the first place.
never had it in the first place. But
Yeah.
he's not. But certainly his litigation goal can't be financial.
No.
Does he want back his $7 million? That's gone, I'm sure. It's
gone.
And what's not gone, there's a lien on it by the lawyers, who, by the way, are probably, from what I've seen, I mean, that cross-examination of the psychologist.
Mm-hmm. What were your thoughts on that?
That was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. And I've said that before.
Yeah.
She was, first of all, optics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a middle-aged man. I could stand to lose a few pounds. It's not as bad for men as it is for women.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have an attractive member of the same sex on the stand,
mm-hmm.
and you have a question, all other things being equal, whether you want to try to beat her up,
mm-hmm.
while you stand there looking frumpy and dumpy,
mm-hmm.
and she is...
Which one? Wait, which psychologist are you talking about? You're talking about Johnny's expert. The young lady with the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Johnny, because there was also a psychologist expert for Amber, who was a little older, but she also had blonde hair. Okay, so lady.
So that I could not believe what I was. It was so poorly done, and this is like
I wasn't agreeing with you at first, but now I do.
I was wondering why you could possibly have any question about that.
Yeah.
So it looked like guess what? It's a terrible thing. This is the way it is. People like you and I get as far in life as we do on our looks, but it's not fair, but we do. But the fact is, people judge people on how they come across. And this woman was so much more appealing than the person cross-examining her. And a lawyer friend of mine on Twitter made the point that as a general rule, the experts in a case of any degree of sophistication are professional witnesses.
Yes. Yeah.
I say 10 minutes of cross on an expert. You find 2 or 3 soft spots, and if your soft spots in prep, the best you can come up with for a soft spot is you had dinner and drinks with the defense, with the plaintiff's team before they hired you, and then you repeat that 5 different times.
I know. You're gonna wear the jury out with it. Make the argument, make the point once, and then make the argument to the jury the significance of it. She belabored that point. And honestly, I just finished cross-examining an expert witness, and bias is what that goes to. It's very important, but you don't make the argument with your witness. You don't do that. It was ridiculous. They're calling it Muffin Gate. Is that what they is that what they ate, was muffins? They minimized it.
But all our listeners should understand that on cross-examination, the lawyer's job is to get the jury. You tell me if you learn differently. The jury is supposed to listen to you.
Yes, I agree. No, that's exact. You
use the witness as a backboard.
Yeah.
For what you want the jury to hear about that witness's direct testimony.
Yeah.
Well, if the jury keeps turning to you, making mistakes like she did, she made mistakes. Don't tell me you can't pronounce a name. For Christ's sake, you don't get up there in front of a jury and say, I can't pronounce that name. Maybe that's the name or the maiden name of someone in the jury. Or
you have no idea. Or maybe they come from that culture.
I was about to say, what is it about Americans that they have so much difficulty with like any name other than Smith or Brown or Black?
No, it's ridiculous. And it does not, as attorneys, we have to do better. We have to do better. It offends juries. Oh, I'm so with you on that point. Okay. Let's move on from the Muffin Gate. The Muffin Gate. Okay, so now here we are in this part with it, which is Amber Heard's testimony.
And this is all about the crying, right? We're talking about the crying. We're going to evaluate the crying.
Let's evaluate the crying. Okay, but it's more than the crying. Matter of fact, let me find like a little quick quick clip of it. Okay. It's more than the crying. It is the allegation of just horrendous abuse. That is by Johnny Depp. That is, I mean, it is disturbing. It is disturbing, Ron. So while she's crying, what she's alleging is that he used a
the
bottle on her,
right?
That he slammed her all around the room.
And this goes back to your point, about the physical violence. We're all adults, okay?
Yeah.
We understand what would happen to a human being.
Yeah.
If someone did that to another human being.
That's what I'm saying.
What
Mrs. Kick, pull up the pictures that I sent you. And these are courtesy of Emily D. Baker, because she was taking screenshots as she was live streaming, as Amber was testifying. Okay. So there's a little bit of, you still with me, Ron? Or are you frozen? Ron's frozen. Am I frozen? Mrs. Kick, are we good? I think Ron's frozen. Okay. Oh no, he's back. Okay. So can we zoom in on this? This is after Johnny Depp, who she says always wears his rings, backhanded her, headbutted her, tore her hair out, flung her around the room. Let's go in some more. Can we get any closer than that? Is that possible? Yeah.
It looks like that terrible Johnny Depp put some extra mascara on her.
And broke her nose, she said. She felt like her nose was broken.
Wait,
this is supposed to be the next day.
I wish someone would break my nose and look like that.
Are you freaking, I'm sorry. Guys, I can't do it. I know that, again, legally speaking, this might mean nothing, because they might say he did some form of abuse to her. She did. So it was a toxic relationship. They both abused each other. Ron, you're muted. They both abused each other.
I should be.
Yeah. No. And there's no way to call it, right? But I'm freaking sorry. It makes me mad, guys. I'm genuinely mad. If someone headbutts you and backhands you with all those rings on his hand, this is not what you look like. That's not true.
Okay. So where's her lawyers telling her this is crazy? We can't put this on.
You can't concede the lawsuit. They're too far. She's too far into it now. And the way in which she testifies, the crying, I'm sure she's just like that in the office. Where my family is from, Jamaica, they call it a dry cry, right? Dry cry. You're making all this facial expressions, but nothing comes out.
So
she had a moment today where she broke down, making very serious facial expressions.
Well,
and
she could very well listen. Given the stress and given the anxiety and given how awful it's going by, I think almost everyone's take on this.
Yeah.
No, I mean, whatever happens in terms of the verdict, she comes out of this worse than Johnny, right? Is that a question?
I agree. I don't think there's any question of that.
So if she can't pull as an actress, I studied the method when I was in college. If she can pull on that pain to actually come up with that's Newark. I'm sorry, you're hearing in the background there.
Oh, I used to live in Newark. That's where you are?
Yes, yeah. I'm in the Robert Treat Center.
I was right across the street from City Hall.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, near the courthouse.
No, yeah, right by the courthouse. My apartment was on top of a pizzeria.
Was it near the shoe shine place or on the other side of City Hall?
No, so the front facing side of City Hall.
Oh, okay.
Right across
not
there.
The court side.
Yeah, there was like a pizza place, and my apartment building was like on top of it. It was fun. I liked it there.
Sorry about that, folks. A little Newark homie time. She should be, as an actress, the fact that she couldn't get herself to feel genuine emotion, at least by drawing on the actual moment that she's going through as a litigant, is amazing to me. I mean, I might cry.
Yeah. Yeah. Mrs. Kick, pull up the next picture. Let's go through all of them. And let's zoom in as much as possible. Again, this is after being, and she says as a prophylactic, Ron, oh, you know, the lighting's not that great, or I know it's kind of hard to see here, but yeah, I had these horrible bruises. Can we get any closer? Guys, you're going to have to excuse me, because I always say, you know, I might not be as measured as I should be in this one. It's just infuriating to me. I don't think you can get headbutted and backhanded and dragged all around the room, and this is your proof of injury. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I don't even know if these were taken on the same day or anything. I don't know anything about the metadata for these. And this is the busted lip, and the busted lip keeps changing. And she's like, oh, well, you know, you talk. And so that will open up your lip some. Yeah, and let's go in here. And see, this is the same lip that's supposed to be busted. I'm Ron, please help me. I'm trying here. I'm usually super guys, these are the facts. Let's
well, you know, so I think I'm seeing some point. You know, you made a point, and a few of the chat people have made a point that she was at a point of no return. She can't quit now. Is, you know, see, this is something I think that you see much less in your practice than we see in the civil practice, which is that every litigation is a chicken game. And that's why the vast majority of civil cases and criminal cases as well do not go to trial. Mm-hmm. It's a question of who will blink and at what cost. Mm-hmm. And you don't, and this is one of my problems, by the way, and with people like us, second guessing what other lawyers are doing, because until you have the red weld, you don't really know.
We don't know.
You do not know.
No.
But guess what? At least it's better that some people with insight into the process should do the second guessing than people with no insight into the process.
True.
So, every day you go into court, you just finished a long trial, right? Hoping that today will be a better day than yesterday. If yesterday was good, let's have a great day. And if yesterday sucked, let's get things moving in our direction again. Mm-hmm. And, you know, on the other hand, every day of investment is a day that makes it harder to climb down.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it. You know, right. You're right. We don't get, I had a workers' compensation practice at some point in time. I was in a law firm that did that. And there would be people that we represented the complainant, you know, the person who was injured, the employee. And, you know, sometimes people make those claims up. Sometimes they do, right? They're not being honest. But there were some people that were so invested in the lie, they couldn't let it go. You know, all the evidence to the contrary, or the investigator had come up with something showing you're not telling the truth, right? All the evidence, and they just could not let it go, right? And so you just had to drop them as a client. There's nothing you could do about it. You know, you had to drop them and tell them to go find somebody else. There's too many millions of dollars invested here. There's too much credibility invested here. Her entire career is on the line. She's gonna have to give the performance of her lifetime. She can't let it go, right? But I'm sorry. I don't care what you say. This man assaulted you with a bottle. He backhanded you multiple times, slammed you into multiple things.
Can I tell you something else also? Look at her eyes.
Give me
How soon after the events did this take place? She's in a bathroom. I see that. Mm-hmm. She's in a bathroom. Did she just clean herself up?
She's saying it was yesterday. It was the day before. She's saying these pictures are from the day after.
I'm not saying that I've ever seen a woman cry because of anything I ever did. That's impossible. Anyone who knows me would tell you that could never happen. Her eyes, I mean, she's obviously a very pretty lady. And one of the things that makes a lady pretty is to have nice, big eyes. But those are nice, pretty eyes. They don't look very swollen or very red to me.
That's what I'm saying. I guess I'm having another hard time with this because.
But I mean, you can get away with this. I don't know what kind of hate I'm going to get for being.
I don't. I just don't. That's the other thing that makes it so difficult is that, like, calling Amber Heard into question does not call into question all victims of domestic violence.
Oh God, no.
I'm trying to tell you guys something here, okay? I've always had a problem with this. You know, I didn't have a problem with Me Too as a let's talk out about the, and I already talked, you know, sexual assault against women in general, and then the institutions that protect the men that do it, you know, and a lot of women just accepting it, kind of thinking it's like, this is the status quo, this is what I have to do. I don't have any problems with that. What I had a problem with was believe all women. This is as a woman saying this. And we lost Mrs. Kick. And this is myself as a criminal defense attorney. It's okay, I'm sure she'll come back. If not, we'll figure it out. This is myself as a criminal defense attorney. Because I've had cases in which I've had clients that are wrongfully accused. It happens. Women are human beings just like anyone else. So no, use your thinking caps with each and every case. And in this particular case, use your thinking cap. I'm sorry. You can't tell me that this man flung you all over the room, broke glass, and then, welcome back, Mrs. Kick, broke glass.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah. And she said there's something she said. I was slipping on the glass. You don't slip on glass. Glass cuts your feet. He was breaking glass bottles everywhere. Where's the broken glass on your feet? And then, you know, I think I saw some of Emily D. Baker's stream. You know, I always let you guys know when I've seen that because she's amazing at streaming, right? I saw some of Emily's stream and she said, you know, if they ask her to show her feet, which is like kind of funny and kind of gross, but if they ask her to show her feet, she'll just say, oh, there were no bruises. There was no scars. But you don't walk. It's glass. It's not like a hit. It's not like a smack where maybe he's pulling the punches or something. If you walk on glass, you're going to cut your feet. I don't believe that. It just doesn't make any sense.
You also, I mean, unless you are a super duper tough person who has grown up in an environment where you've got thick calloused feet because you've always like, this is a woman who she's a Hollywood lady. She's Johnny Depp. I'm sure her feet are as tender as a baby's. You walk on, like, you can't walk on glass. You put your feet down on glass, you instantly jump up.
Yes.
The only way you walk on glass is if someone is firing a machine gun at you.
It's ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Mrs. Kick, did you lose all of the private chat when you got kicked out?
No.
Okay, good. Can you take us to the last YouTube video that I posted? Because that's going to get us. I think that one has the most of the crying jag, the crying face that she was making, guys. Guys, first of all, thank you guys so much for making this, you know, my first stream back in a month, and you guys are awesome. And the thing is this, I just saw Jordan's comment. I don't want to convince you. That's not what I want to do. What I want to tell you is that these are wild accusations that should have proof, because she's exaggerating so much the level of harm that he did to her that she's taken it too far. There has to be injuries from this. There has to be. And the photographs that she took do not support the injuries that she exaggerated. Okay, go ahead and play that, Mrs. Kick. Thank you.
Please tell, it's the premiere of Mordecai, correct? Did you accompany Mr. Depp to Tokyo for the premiere of Mordecai?
I did. When I was...
Please tell the jury about that trip.
Well, I had just started to pick out the wedding dress right before that trip. And plans were moving for us to get married shortly after this trip. So we took this trip to promote his movie. I went with him.
Skip forward like a minute.
We got in an argument in the hotel room.
Yeah.
And
after the argument, she's going to
try
go
to push him off of me. And I managed to get out of his grasp enough to take a few steps, and I kind of curved around and went into the closet. And
Listen to
by the
this.
time I made it into the closet, he had me by the hair, and what felt like he was just wailing on me, but in a really sloppy way, like hitting the back of my head and kind of.
Bad
Do you
technique.
hear what she's doing there? Pause. Yeah, Ron heard it too. Go, Ron. I think you're about to say the same exact thing I was about to say. Go for it. Go.
She's criticizing his wife beating technique.
Yeah. You know why? Because you don't have any injuries from this brutal beating. So you're like, well, he hit me a bunch, but not that hard because he's a sloppy drunk. So the reason I don't really have injuries like that is because of this. Whenever I have a witness on the stand, or the state has a witness on the stand that is explaining why their story doesn't make sense before they tell their story that doesn't make sense, I know I've got him in cross. Right? You're trying to give us the medicine before the harm comes, right? And once you say it, then you're like, oh, but that's why. I'm explaining to you why the story that doesn't make sense actually happened. Okay, go ahead.
Have a fair shot because I wasn't facing him or looking at him. I was walking away from him. Or else, you know, I would have at this point even like I would have tried to defend myself more, but I didn't. I kind of felt like it didn't see it coming, and he just wrestled me down to the ground. And I remember he was screaming at me. I mean, like really screaming loud. And what I remember of that is
she very conveniently remembers what happens in her testimony, but doesn't experience what's happening. And I think that that's in case there's any inconsistencies with what she said before, or with what other people will testify to or have testified to. This is just my memory, guys. This is just what I remember.
Him kind of wrestling me back down, and at one point put his knee on my...
Oh, yeah. Can you just like pause it for a little, let it load up if you're having some connection issues?
Yeah, hold on one sec.
Yeah, no problem.
Find out why.
So what she's going to say here is, while it's buffering, what she's going to say here is that he kneels his knee into her back, right? Super hard. It hurts so much. But then they had a premiere in Tokyo for a movie, and she was ironically wearing this backless dress. And she was like, I was looking at all the pictures from the premiere to see if there was any injury, because it was so ironic that he kneeled in my back and I was wearing a backless dress. There's no injury. There was no injury to her back, but she's letting them know ahead of time. If anyone out there goes and looks these pictures up, you're not going to see anything. I was looking as well, and I just happened to be wearing a backless dress, and he kneeled into my back. Like, what? Mrs. Kick, they asked if you could turn the volume up, please. I think it's a StreamYard issue. Yeah, I think it's a StreamYard issue. It
could be because everybody's trying to watch it right now.
Yeah, it's either a StreamYard or a YouTube issue, because I was having some buffering issues earlier. Okay. Can you turn it up? We might have to skip this if it's going to be slowing down the stream. Ain't nothing worse than some dead air. Yeah, it looks like she has the volume all the way up, guys.
It's buffering, so it doesn't matter. It's not a volume issue. It's
yeah. Well, they were just saying they couldn't hear. Yeah. I don't know. Can you try refreshing the page? See if that helps.
Yeah, let's try.
Oh, yes. Lower the video quality. They're right. Lower the video quality. Like from HD.
All right. January 25, 2015.
And then just skip.
Shit.
Yeah, there's something going on, guys. I don't think this is your connectivity. I think this is something else.
Where is the quality?
And right there.
It's on auto.
Put it at 144p or whatever that is.
All right, January 25, 2015.
We more need to hear it than anything. Okay, so let's skip. Can you skip back to where we were before? Awesome.
Down to the ground, and I remember.
Yes, thank you.
He was screaming at me. I mean, like really screaming loud. And what I remember of that is trying to get up and him kind of wrestling me back down, and at one point put his knee on my back. was kind of like kneeling on my back. And I just had this like struggle with him. And I look at him and he's still got his glasses on. I just remember looking at him and thinking that was so, I mean, he just looked like he hadn't been through anything. You know, he still had his glasses on, sunglasses.
Pause that real quick.
And he was
Sorry.
screaming at me that he hated.
So later on, she's going to say that, okay, so here's the thing. I think she said that, and this is just me and what I would argue, because right before this, my husband had said, God, he wears his sunglasses a lot, right? he wears his tinted shades or glasses in court, right? And he's been wearing them almost the entire time, except for when he's testifying. So I thought that she was connecting that. And then also she goes, I was looking him in his eyes and it was black and he wasn't there. Which one is it? Is he always wearing his glasses, or are you looking him in his eyes and it's black and he's not there? Like, those are two different things. You see what I'm saying? Like, you can't look someone in their eyes with their shades on, right? Anyway, go ahead. Oh, you're muted, Ron.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep the Newark out of the feed. It depends how dark they are. Right?
Yeah.
Well, they're indoors though, so it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Are they indoors? It's California.
They're indoors. They're indoors. Yeah, go ahead.
That it was over. He didn't want to marry me. He was disgusted. He was disgusted. He made this mistake. It was a big mistake, and everyone hated me.
It was a big mistake. You guys should not have gotten married.
And I remember crying on the floor. Just, more than anything, I was heartbroken. I thought maybe he was serious. I thought maybe, God, he doesn't love me. Maybe.
All right, we're going to have to give up on this video because it's getting on my nerves. All right, let's let that go.
Maybe he really feels these.
Oh, okay. All right. So, unfortunately, I can't give you guys a good flavor for the crying jag that she had just a few minutes after that. But suffice it to say, she breaks down into paroxysms. Like, she's like gasping, but there's nothing coming out of her eyes, nothing whatsoever. And then they put up those photographs to show the injuries she suffered from the multiple swinging me around, ripping off my nightgown, using a bottle on me. And I'm sorry, the photographs just don't match. Johnny Depp's photographs matched his injuries and hers did not. And that matters. It matters. What do you think, Ron? You're muted.
So I was like, it's like I just started doing this yesterday, right? You know, they turn off the air conditioning in this building, and I actually have I'm in an old building that has windows that open, so I'm taking advantage of getting to that fresh Passaic River air in here. And but Newark is a bit of a noisy place, especially at night. No, you're right about the injuries, especially like my wife asks me, I've got some like inch deep, 4-inch long gash on my leg, and says, what happened? I said, I don't know. I went into the garage. You went to the garage 4 days ago. Okay. Men walk around. They got no clue.
Yeah.
What, you know, I mean, the spots that I have on me, who even knows? Women are much more delicate. She's fair haired. So every mark, every glancing blow should be leaving. I saw in a lot of the comments here, people are saying, describing, unfortunately, you know, events in their lives where they have been hit or been hit or accidentally bumped into something, and it lasted for months. Months.
Yeah. I think I was going to say this earlier and then I forgot. So I have thankfully never been a victim of domestic abuse. I am, exactly. Like my heart goes out to everyone who has male and female. And I'm so sorry, but I have never been a victim of that. I have been punched in the eye though. And I was punched in the eye in a schoolyard fight. And I am a melanated individual, right? I'm Black. I have far more skin color than Miss Heard has. And this was like a junior high school fight or something. The other girl got worse than I did, right? But she got me in the eye. And that black eye that preteen girl gave me lasted for weeks. It was like gross and red, and then it was green, and then it started to heal over. What she got, I'm sorry, that's just not what happened. You did not get headbutted. He did not backhand you. No, I just don't believe you. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did win that fight, by the way, and she started it. I mean,
I'm sure she had it coming. Absolutely.
I did not start fights in school. I was not a fighter. I was actually like a pacifist. But this girl wanted to fight me, and so she did. She punched me in the eye, and we got to tussling, but I won that fight. All right, so I think that's pretty much it as far as like summing up where we are now. And guys, let me just bring the law back to the facts that we have, right? At least she has testified as to sexual abuse. She has testified as to that. She's testified as to physical abuse. He has testified that he did not sexually or physically abuse her. Here's the problem with Johnny Depp's testimony is that his drug use and reactions during drug use could be seen as emotional or verbal abuse towards his partner. And he will not 100% accept that I had a problem. I was really reacting badly. He was trying to like kind of dissemble a bit when it came to his drug usage, and maybe he'll lose some credibility points there. But I think that what will overshadow that is her lying, in my opinion, about him physically abusing her. I don't believe her, and I don't think many people will believe her. I don't find that to be believable. The allegations of what he did allegedly were so horrific that you're going to have to, in this day and age where everyone has a camera on their phone, you're going to have to show me more than a little dark mark right there.
So now I'm her defense lawyer.
Yeah, go for it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've probably been spending a lot of time listening to my client, judging her testimony, judging her accounting of what happened, listening to Johnny Depp. And you know, Mr. Depp, he's a highly accomplished actor. He's a very, very fine professional. He deserves everything coming to him in Hollywood. Here's what he doesn't deserve. A verdict of liability for defamation in this case. Because, ladies and gentlemen, this case is not about who treated whom worse in the Depp household. This case is not about who was nastier, who was more callous, who was more believable about who hit whom. This is a question about defamation. And ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Depp has not carried his burden of proof on the question of defamation. Mm-hmm. Now, the fact that we're having this conversation means that so far, her lawyers have let the trial get away.
Oh, big time. Big time. Big time.
That's what it's supposed to be.
First of all, Ron, that's an excellent closing. And no, that's an excellent closing. It's on the law, and that's what this is all about, right?
It's supposed to be.
Yeah. And you can both be horrible, and it can also be true that he abused her, right? It can also be, and they cannot prove that he didn't, right? And it's their burden. It's the plaintiff's burden. What I will say, though, is that with that low burden of proof, 51% basically, right? Preponderance of the evidence, that lower.
Well, hold on. Well, what is the rule? Okay, so right, Virginia. So New York recently changed its defamation standard as part of a SLAPP statute.
Uh-huh.
At the pleadings level,
uh-huh,
you have to have a more than a preponderance. You have to have a what is it? I'm saying not what's a the preponderance of the evidence. It's the criminal law standard. You're
beyond a reasonable doubt.
You have to have it has to be
Probable cause.
no, it's not probable cause. The point is, it is not the usual civil preponderance to the evidence standard.
Right.
And it's the I do defamation law all the time,
Yeah.
but the point is, it's the same standard as would be the case for the standard for actual malice applies to anyone, even a non-public figure.
Oh, interesting.
But
So
she's a public figure, though, right?
Right, and he's a public figure, so the actual malice standard does apply here.
Right,
it does. But whether or not she acted with actual malice, I still think that in Virginia they apply the preponderance of the evidence standard.
Mm-hmm.
I think. From what I was researching this morning.
Oh, actually, it's funny because I think you're right, because I filed a Virginia defamation claim.
Yeah. It's why they wanted it in Virginia. It's why Depp wanted it in Virginia. They have a more plaintiff-friendly standard in Virginia than they do in California.
A weaker anti-slap.
Yeah. Oh, a much weaker anti-slap. Because Ron, you may not know this. They all know this, but I was sued in California for defamation, and I filed an anti-slap motion and won. And so. Now it's like my pet project to understand different states' anti-slap, and anti-slap in Virginia is a lot different than California, and that's why they wanted to be there. But
I've spent a lot of time the last year dealing with anti-slap around the country myself.
So I don't think that they would fail at the actual malice standard here. I think they would fail at the
In fact, you're
the truth.
On the defensive that's true.
Yeah. I think that the best defense is it's true, right? Or you can't prove it's not true, right? You can't prove it's not true. She said this, and you cannot prove that it's not true, and it's your burden because it's your case.
What's the jury mix on sex?
I think it's mostly men.
But it's mostly men in Northern Virginia.
Mostly men in Northern Virginia. Northern Virginia is a lot more liberal than the rest of Virginia.
Right.
A lot more progressive, I guess I should say, than the rest of Virginia. But you still have, in my opinion, that audio tape of her saying, oh, it's all men. Okay. No, then that's not all men. No. So someone said 3 women. Yeah. But no, it's that audio. Everything she said that you heard just now, I think of that through the prism of when there's no jury there. She said, you go ahead, you tell a judge and a jury that you're Johnny Depp and you've been abused. Go ahead and tell them that. And to me, that's just, you're not the same person on the stand that you are when you don't think that the appropriate people are listening.
All right. So I might have to grab that, also again, as the defense lawyer, and saying, listen,
tell me. Yeah.
I certainly wouldn't have told my client to say something like that. You've got a woman who is distressed, whether you think she should be distressed or not.
Yeah.
She's hurting. She sees her life and her relationship falling apart. It doesn't justify what she did, doesn't justify what she said. And you're going to hear a lot from my adversary about how that goes to tell you how manipulative she was, how this was all a big setup. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go back to the Washington Post column. How far from the truth? How far from the truth, from the general, in-specific truth described in that Washington Post column, can you tell me this woman departed? Can you tell me that by the preponderance of the evidence, you can say that you understand that what she experienced was that far from what the reasonable reader understood from that column? It's hard to win a deposition.
It's really, guys, defamation law, it's hard for the plaintiff. It is very, very, because you get down, and this is why he lost in the UK. In the UK, they have a bit of a different standard, but they were like, well, it was essentially true. It was essentially true. You are a druggie. You are a this and a that. And one could believe that you abused your wife. A person could believe that, so you lose. And that makes it really, really difficult. Oh, no problem. Somebody said, when they said it was all men, they said they took someone's hyperbole as fact. No, I know that there's a few women on there, but it's mostly men. All right, Ron, I'm going to get to these super chats because I don't feel like we need to be in here much longer. I think we've covered her testimony, and I'm going to let you, plug your channel one more time. You don't have to sit around for this.
Ron Coleman, lawyer. Thank you, everyone. It's nice to meet those of you who I have not had a chance. Different audience I know from the usual. And I'm not like really not a serious YouTuber like you guys are. I'm an old friend of Nick's and Joe Neerman's, and I pop in from time to time. I'm really a Twitter guy at Ron Coleman, like you spell my name. I don't know how many of you would be interested in my comedy stylings there, but thanks a lot for having me on, and great getting to know you a little bit. Good night.
Ron, we really enjoyed you, and your
Thank
sample closings were, because I've given them sample openings in criminal cases. Just spot on. Loved it.
I love to hear that from a criminal defense lawyer because they actually try cases. I'm lucky if I see a jury once every 3 years.
Oh my God, I'm so tired already. Please, I'm jealous.
Tiring.
But then I don't want to file any claims. So okay, all right.
Good night.
I'll see you later, Ron. Have a good night.